participants of the 5th International Conference of Social Science, Humanities and Technology. I am very happy to be here presenting my paper entitled Jaku Silup, or Allusion, a form of language or of Iban language art. What is Jaku Silup? Actually, Jaku Silup is a metaphorical expression. Now, when we say it's a metaphorical expression, the words used are short and they are made up of metaphorical words. So, Jaku Silup is actually expressing something very politely and prudently. For example, to inspect fallen leaves and sticks. In Iban, it is called Kak Ngabas Rau. But in English, to inspect fallen leaves and sticks. If we are thinking in a literal sense, we may think that we are inspecting fallen leaves and sticks. But no, this is not the meaning. This is just to tell the audience or the people who ask us that we are going for fishing. That is how it works, right? The first one is to express something very politely and prudently in a very hidden way. Then number 2, allusion. It is an allusion. It is an indirect statement. For example, in Iban, we cannot say, we want to eat, or I want to eat, or my stomach is hungry. We do not do that. We do not say that. But instead, we say, nekuk kelengan. Nekuk kelengan is to fold arm. Fold arm means to tell people that we are going to have a break or we want to enjoy our meal. But when we are away from home, we should not say that because this will invite disasters to come upon us. So in other words, Jaku Silup is actually a circuitous language, right? It's a circuitous language. For example, the heart of a day. The heart of a day in Ibans mean a person who is not easily, it is not easy to see the attitude or the mood of a person. He can change at any time. That is why we say he has the heart of a day. Sometimes the day is moody, right? And so the next one is the Iban, they are superstitious. So we cannot say a lot of things when we are in the jungle or in the bush or when we are at work. That is how we look at it in the Iban. Right. Now, the next thing about the circuitous language or the allusion here is that most of the things that are said are laden with analogous elements, meaning we are using comparison, right? We are using comparison. Now, why do we use comparison and when do we use it? We use it to convey implicit instruction or even sarcasm with these figurative words, with this metaphorical expression. So the metaphorical expression, it contains hidden messages to keep its speaker safe. Now we can say that the metaphorical expression are categorized as proverbs. And so when we say it, it is spoken with messages of advice and warning that we can call an adage or saying. Now, just to be sure, when we talk about Jaku Silup or allusion, it is a language. It is a language idiom, right? It refers to something very indirect, but the meaning is implied. So this is why we need to interpret the hidden meaning of the local wisdom of the people. Normally, the words are short and poetic. The words are short and poetic. Now, there are a lot of things that we can say about the allusion or Jaku Silup. It is a component of our language art. First, it is using comparison to you give advice, to criticize, to convey critically, but then it is very indirect. Through this comparison and symbolism, hidden and ambiguous expression referring to a particular subject. So that is number one. Important thing about allusion. It is using comparison. But then not much is recorded. As far as our allusion in the Iban language is concerned, there is not much that has been collected. This is what the Iban community has to do. They have to collect all these allusion and compile them into books of knowledge for the younger generation to study. All right, now, so we have to preserve this allusion, and then this allusion will have to exemplify our creativity in creating the artistic and flowery language. We are actually using a lot of elements of fauna and flora in our expression, in addition to the metaphorical expression that we have had in this allusion. All right, now allusion or Jaku Silup highlights the uniqueness in the Iban language because it is not only using comparison, it is also set in a hidden and ambiguous way. It is spoken in a very indirect way. First, so that people will not be hurt by what we are saying. Then number two, it shows the diversity of the language itself. Then number three, it is actually a form of euphemism. Euphemism is something that we cannot say very directly. For example, we believe in the spiritual realms. If our baby is fat, we cannot say that boy or that baby girl is fat because we believe that ghosts are around. Ghosts are very near, right? We are very superstitious. We believe that they will be disturbed by the evil spirit. So instead, we will say that the baby is not heavy, right? The baby is not heavy, and we call it payat. Payat is bitter in English, right? So this is what are the things that we need to know about the Iban allusion, because it delivers the message implicitly. And then it needs to be interpreted and analyzed. If we do not analyze and interpret it properly, we may think that it is just denotative. Normally, the allusion is connotative. It has a lot of meaning. It has multiple meaning, and we need to explain what it means to the others who do not know about the allusion. Therefore, we have to apply the semantic theory when we interpret allusion. And using the semantic theory, we are trying to get into the meaning of it by using or by interpreting the symbols that we have in the allusion. Now, let's talk about the features of Jaku Silup. Number one, as I've said, Jaku Silup compares something. It compares two things or three things at one time. And then number two, it has hidden and ambiguous meaning. When we want to go to the river to fish, normally we would say we want to walk on the water. Whoever walk on the water? We cannot walk on the water. But we say we walk on the water. It means what? It means that we are going fishing. Either we cast nets or doing any other things, right? As long as it has something to do with fishing. That is the thing that we need to know about this, the features of allusion or Jaku Silup. And it has implied meaning. It has implied meaning. Meaning, the meanings are not denotative. The meaning are connotative. For example, musang berbulu manok. Oh, musang berbulu manok. Musang is civet in chicken feathers. What does it mean, civet in chicken feathers? Meaning someone is trying to cover up. He was trying to cover up his weakness. He was trying to cover up his behaviors, to do something mischievous, so that people may not know. That is what is the meaning of civet in the chicken feathers. That is the feature that we normally see in the allusion. And The next feature is that it refers to something very specific. It is not something general. It has to be something very specific, and the comparison must be sure. The comparison must be something that people can see, so that they will be able to grasp the meaning of allusion. Next is number 5. The features about the features which is to be found inside the allusion is that it has implied meanings. Even though it is used politely to have hidden meaning, but it is used to insinuate a person, right? It is used to teach a person. It is used to, for example, to tell that particular person that he is not doing something good. The meaning is implied. And then the next features is that it reflects the Iban culture. The Iban has what do we call very unique culture. In one of the allusion, we normally say if a person is always borrowing somebody's things, we always say that he's a kind of person who always inyau kara. Inyau kara is a kind of tree. Is the kara tree or a fig tree? See, a fig tree. He's always borrowing from the people. Right? If his stomach is big, then we say he has a big buah lembak. Buah lembak is a very broad-leaved stemless plant that we can see. Perhaps you people have never seen this kind of plant in the bush or in the jungle, but we Ibans, we know how does a buah lembak look like. It is something very big. So a person with a big stomach, we normally call a person having a big buah lembak, right? So this is what we call allusion in our Iban culture, and it is used in our culture to describe certain thing, right? And then one of the most particular things about allusion is that it consists of figurative metaphorical phrases. Okay, consists of figurative metaphorical phrases, meaning it is using a lot of symbols, it is using a lot of figures made up into metaphorical phrases. People may say bulan bergantung senduk or a moon of hanging spoon. What does it mean? To the Iban society, it means that that particular month is not quite a good month because he has not enough food to eat at that time. So he has to live a frugal, he has to make a frugal living by trying to economize because that was the moon of hanging spoon. The features is Jaku Silup or allusion are without clause and use only 1, 2, or even 3 words. There are not many words used, but it is also effective when it is used because it depends on the context. Okay, now, next is that Jaku Silup is sometimes made up of even more than 2 or 3 words. It can be many. For example, in Iban, kudi memori ari na hujan, ikak lalangga, ikan na ngaban. In English, we say, infuriated tadpoles, no rainy days. Tired with tears, there are no fish. Meaning, for no reason, someone is very moody. So, this is what we say when a person has the mood of the day, right? We call him having the heart of a day, right? So, this is why sometimes it is seen that the Ibans are using figurative words in making allusion. So much so that allusion becomes a riddle. It becomes a riddle, or we can say the allusion has a riddling nature. A riddling nature. For example, in the word or in the phrase matang kudu. Matang kudu in English is nkudu spores. Why do we say nkudu spores? Because it means that this particular person cannot choose. He wants anybody, he wants anything, right? So this is the riddling nature of our allusion. And another one in this context right? Riddling nature of our illusion. For example, bertebu di mulut. Bertebu di mulut means planting sugar cane at the mouth. But that's what does it mean? It means that we always say sweet things. We always give promises, but never once is fulfilled. So this is very bad, right? And then by having this riddling nature, sometimes people are trying to advise this particular person not to plant sugar cane at the mouth. Next one is also very important. We see how illusion having this feature. It is used in residential or haunted areas. Used in the places in a huge weather event. That is why we have to say it very carefully. We cannot just simply say anything we want. For example, in the river, once again we say that we cannot say that I want to eat. Instead, we say let's fold our arms because it means I want to eat. We believe that natural disaster will come, right? Snakes or even crocodile will come because they can understand what we means. We, the Ibans, believe that the ghosts or the spirits are very near to us, right? How near is the spirit to us? It is just as near as the thickness of a brinjal. It is very, very near. So illusion at this juncture or in this context can be used to avoid any harm or disaster strike. That is why we need to be very careful with what we say. Now, one important thing that we need to talk about this morning is the functions of Jaku Silup. What is the functions of Jaku Silup? There are quite a number. First, it contains a value, quality, and duty. So the function is we use Jaku Silup expression to inform the purpose of their travels and their daily activities should they be asked about it. That's number one. Number two, accordingly, it was to avoid disaster strike, like what I have just said just now. Number three, it is used to avoid misunderstanding. In order to avoid misunderstanding between the two sides, the expression has to have an implied meaning, right? It has to have an implied meaning. In other words, when we say anang buhay batu in English, don't discard the stone away. What does it mean by don't discard the stone away? It means that we must not forget each other. So it is trying to avoid misunderstanding by saying it in a very indirect way. Right, now, also other functions of Jaku Silup. For example, one that is very particular is it provides advice or living guide to audience. Sometimes it is used to convey sympathy with an exquisite, distinguished, or symbolic and distinctive style. Now, this is important because we need to say certain thing in a very polite manner. And also, illusion has the function to manifest the Iban local wisdom. It is the height of our intellect and it is radiated through this illusion. In other words, it shows common sense in a way because it portrays the local wisdom. And so these are some of the function of the Iban Jaku Silup. Now, looking at the function, and so when we talk about this function, we can say that the function of Jaku Silup is actually revealing the worldview and mindset of the people called the Ibans in the Sarawak or the Iban community in Sarawak. It reveals the worldview or the mindset. Normally people say it reveals the Weltan Chong, but Weltan Chong is a Bahasa Melayu word. So instead we say worldview or mindset. Now, so it is safe to say that Jaku Silup is actually our intellectual property. The Iban intellectual property can be procured It can be unraveled, it can be discovered through the interpretation of this rich treasure of Jaku Silup. So, let me go on with another two more functions of Jaku Silup. Next is Jaku Silup is used to express thoughts. It is used to express message idiomatically. Pragmatically, the message or thoughts are expressed. The thoughts are conveyed idiomatically rather than directly, so that the people will not be hurt by the language that we use. In other words, the function is to decorate the words in everyday messages, and this is what we call by the metaphorical expression. I am very glad that I have been able to speak to you today about the Iban allusion. We call it Jaku Silup, a form of Iban language art. Thank you very much.